Good morning, everyone. Let us start this lab session. So, in this session, we will conduct the experiment on the system identification of the spring mass damper system. So, by performing the experiment, we will find out the system parameters. Then we will find out the transfer function, and from the transfer function, we will draw the root locus. Okay. So, this is the system. It is simple spring mass and damper system. So, for this system, C is the damping coefficient, K is the spring constant, and M is the mass of the system. Okay. So basically, we will perform this experiment in the Inventor software. So we have modeled this system in the software, and in the dynamic simulation part, we will perform the experiment. Okay. So for the experiment, we have to provide some initial force value. Okay. So for this force, we will find out the response of the system. So for the response, we need to observe the displacement of the mass with respect to time. So suppose the system is an underdamped system, then we will get the output waveform like this. Okay. So this is the output displacement and this is the time. So this dotted line, it represents the step input. So this step input, it may be the force value, that is f of t, or if you convert this force value in terms of displacement, then it will be input displacement, that is a xi of t. Okay. So basically we will provide the step input to the mass in terms of force or in terms of the displacement, and then we will observe its output displacement. Okay. So from this graph, we will try to find out the damping coefficient and the stiffness K for that system. So this is called as system identification. So first part is we have to find out the C and K value. From the C and K value, we will find out the transfer function, and then we will find out the root locus. Okay. So first we have to model this system. That means we have to find out the mathematical model. So this is the free body diagram. So for the free body diagram, the first force, it is the damping force Cx dot. Then next is the Kx, which is the spring force. Then this is the external force F of t, and this is the displacement. This is the inertia mx double dot. Okay. So as per the Newton's second law, summation of forces is equal to the mass into acceleration. So summation of force means we have to add all the forces. So minus Cx dot minus Kx plus f of t. This is equal to the inertia, that is a mx double dot. Okay, so we can rearrange this term. So we will get mx double dot plus Cx dot plus Kx is equal to f of t. Okay. So here x dot or x double dot, they represent the output displacement, and this is the input value. Okay. So we can write this equation as m x output. So right now this equation, it is in time domain. And this is the input force, that is a f of t. Okay. Now this time domain equation, we will convert into S domain by taking the Laplace transform. So from the S domain, we can find out the transfer function. So S domain equation will be so the second order term, it will become S square. Then this is the first order term, it will become S. And this f of t, it will become f of s. Okay, so we will write the transfer function. So we will rearrange this equation. So we will get output upon input. So this is equal to 1 upon s square m plus cs plus k. Okay, so this is 1 by m s square plus c upon m into s plus k upon m. So this transfer function, it is for the output displacement and the input force. Okay, so right now both this quantity having the different unit. So to make this dimensionless, we can convert this force value in terms of virtual input displacement. Okay, so for that we have to divide this transfer function by the stiffness value. So if you divide this by k, then this will be this total denominator divided by k. Okay, so this will become k by m divided by s square plus c by m into s plus k by m. Okay, now this value, this is nothing but the virtual input displacement. So your final transfer function, it will be x output upon input displacement. This is equal to k upon m divided by s square plus c upon m into s plus k upon m. Okay, so this transfer function, it is similar to the standard form, which is omega n square s square plus 2 zeta omega n s plus omega n square. So this is the standard form of the transfer function for second order system. Okay, so now we can draw the block diagram. So we have input displacement, then this is the transfer function. So this is equal to k upon m s square plus c upon m s plus k upon m, and then we will get the output displacement. Okay, so before input displacement, we have the force. So this is f of s. Okay, and if you multiply this f of s, sorry, divide this f of s by the k value, then we will get the input displacement. Okay, so basically we are providing this f of s, and then we assume there is a virtual spring which will convert this f of s into displacement. Okay, so right now for this system, we will provide the step input. Okay, so if you provide the step input, so this is our transfer function. So this is standard form. So what is meaning of step input? We will provide the displacement xi, which is equal to, if it is 1 upon s, then this is the unit step input. Okay, so for our system, we will provide the displacement. This is 40 upon s. So this is having 40 mm as a displacement in terms of time domain. So its s domain equation will be 40 upon s. So this is called as a step input having the magnitude of 40. Okay, it may be 40 meter or 40 mm. So if you observe the physical system, so for this physical system, we provide the f of t as a 40 Newton. Okay, so this is the step input of the force. So if you plot the diagram for force versus time, then its nature will be like this. Okay, from 0 time, suddenly value of the force, this is 40 Newton, and it remains constant throughout the time. So it will remain constant having the magnitude 40 Newton. Okay, so we have to check what is the effect on the displacement. So if you plot the displacement from the experiment, so this is output displacement in time domain, then displacement will have the waveform like this. It will oscillate for some time and then it will become stable. Okay, so from this output graph, we will find out the parameters C and K. Okay, and then we'll put this value in the standard transfer function. Okay, so now we will perform the experiment, and from the experiment we will provide the 40 Newton force to the mass, and then we will observe the waveform, and from this waveform we will find out the parameters C and K. So to find out these parameters, we must have the standard equations. So the standard equations are, so if you refer the control system for second order system, then this is called as a peak overshoot. Okay, so for the peak overshoot, we have the formula percentage overshoot. This is equal to e raised to minus pi zeta upon 1 minus zeta square into 100. Okay, so if you know the value, you can measure this value overshoot and you can get the value of zeta. Then we will find out the omega n value. So to find out omega n, that is the natural frequency, this time, this is called as a peak time. So this is time graph or time axis. So this is peak time, that is a time corresponding to the peak overshoot. So we have the formula peak time. This is equal to, this is pi upon omega n in square root 1 minus zeta square. So from this formula, we can get the value of omega n. Okay, and then from omega n, we have the formula square root k by m. So we can find out the stiffness k. Okay, and to find out the c value, you can use the formula zeta is equal to c upon 2m into omega n. So put the value of m, put the value of omega n, you can find out the c value. Okay, so now let us perform the experiment. So this is the spring mass and damper system. This is the mass of the system. This is spring and damper, and this is the fixed support. Okay, so at this point, we will provide the force in this direction. That is a positive direction. So you can observe the response of the system. For initial some time, it will be oscillatory, and then it will become stable. So it will oscillate for some time. Throughout the motion, force is constant. It is a 40 Newton. So you can observe here in the waveform, it is oscillatory and then it becomes stable. Okay. So from this graph, we can find out its peak overshoot and the corresponding time. So you can observe here. So at this point, the time value is 0.16 second. Okay, and corresponding z value, that is its displacement, this is equal to 79.14. Okay, but actually this graph, it's starting from the 10m. Okay, so we will consider 10 as a 0. So we have to subtract from 79, so it will become something 69.14. Okay, so we will export this graph into Excel, and then we will find out the different displacement and corresponding time. So this is the graph. So to find out the, so it is starting from now 0. Okay, so this is maximum displacement. So we have the value, this 0.15, this is the time, and 68.8, this is the maximum value. Okay. So to find out the peak overshoot or percentage peak overshoot, so measure this value, okay, and then divide by this value. So this is the steady state value. So percentage overshoot, this is equal to, from the graph, this value is 69, 68.8, okay, and this value is 40, that is a steady state value, okay. So this is 68.8 minus 40 divided by 40. So that is equal to, so this is 0.72, that is equal to e raised to minus zeta pi divided by 1 minus zeta square. So if you multiply this 72, it will become 72%. Okay. So now solve this equation and get the value of zeta. So zeta is equal to, this is 0.102. Okay. So we have got the damping factor for this system. Now we have to find out the omega n value. So for the omega n, we need the peak time. So time corresponding to peak displacement. So this time is 0.15. Okay. So formula for peak time, this is pi upon omega n square root 1 minus zeta square. So this is 0.15. This is equal to pi upon omega n in square root 1 minus 0.102 square. Okay. So solve this equation and get the value of omega n. So omega n value is 21.1 radian per second. Okay. Now from omega n, we can find out the k value. As mass for the system is given, that is equal to 2.51 kg. So omega n, this is equal to 21.1, this is equal to square root k upon 2.51. So you will get the value of k. So k is equal to, so it is 1117 Newton per meter. Okay. And now find out the c value. So zeta is equal to c upon 2m into omega n. So that is equal to So C value, this is equal to 10.8 Newton second per meter. So this is the damping coefficient. Okay, so now we have got all the parameters. So mass of the system, this is 2.51 kg. Then K is equal to okay, so we can write the transfer function. This is equal to K upon M divided by S square plus C upon M S plus K upon M. Okay, which is equal to omega n square divided by S square plus 2 zeta omega n into S plus omega n square. Okay. So this is the transfer function for the given system, which is equal to x of O divided by x of I. Now from this transfer function, you can find out the root locus. So from this open loop transfer function, you can find out the poles. So poles means find out the roots of this denominator. Okay. So pole S1, so this is minus 2.15 plus or minus 20.99 J. Okay. So we get the two poles S1 and S2. Then zeros, this value is 0. There is no 0 for this transfer function. So P is equal to 2, Z is equal to 0. So number of branches for the root locus, this is equal to P minus Z, that is equal to 2. Okay. So these two branches, they will start from this open loop poles, one at my S1 and second will start from the S2. Okay. Then the angle of asymptotes that defines the direction of the root locus. So we can find out this theta, this is equal to 2q plus 1 into 180 divided by P minus Z. So we will get theta 1. So q is equal to 0, 1 up to P minus Z minus 1. So this will be 0 and 1 only. So when q is equal to 0, we will get pi by 2. And when q is equal to 1, we will get the 3 pi by 2. Okay. That means first branch will have the direction. So this is the direction 90 degree. So this is the imaginary axis, this is the real axis. Second branch will have the direction like this. Okay. So the complete root locus, it will have the nature like this. This is the first pole, that is S1, this is second pole. Okay. So if you vary the gain value for a closed loop transfer function, then root locus or the poles will shift away from the real axis along this direction. Okay. And similarly, the conjugate poles will shift along this direction away from the real axis. Okay. So this is your complete root locus for this system. All the roots of the characteristic equation will lie on this line only. And similarly, depending on the given transfer function, you can plot the Bode plot